What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Press X Podcast, episode 88, your weekly podcast for gaming news and opinions coming at you each and every Monday at noon Eastern. I'm Kevin McManus. With me, Kellen Williard.
Hey.
And Nick Hassell.
We're closing in on 100.
We are. We're getting there. It's very exciting. We're going to have to do something the same for that. So,
what do we do that's insane?
The same.
Insane.
I thought you said insane.
Oh, okay.
Like
we can
jump through fire hoops or something on our way in.
Okay.
Let's
do it. A little bit of housekeeping. I just wanted to point out that I put up a video of the DC deck building multiverse unboxing. So if you're into that, it's for veteran. It is absolutely for veterans of that game. It's a little off base for what I normally put on the channel, but I literally wasn't finding like answers to my questions online for it. So I just wanted to make the video to like help people out with it, and people seem thankful because I've gotten lots of feedback on that. That game is fantastic, though, the DC deck building. I like the new mode. Little long, but I like it. We played it. It was fun.
I had my problems with it, but yeah, it was cool. I like the 2 rows and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Adds a lot to it.
And the new expansions for the set are great as well. So check that out. But first, let's start with what we've been playing. Kellen, it's been a while. What have you been playing in the past 3 weeks?
Hold on.
Since you've been on here.
One I had played before last time I was on here, but forgot to mention was I went through a Stanley Parable.
Oh yeah, how'd you like that?
That game's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's so freaking random. Because my first time I turned it on, I was like, I'm gonna do exactly opposite of what he says. I'm not doing a damn thing he tells me, and I just ended up with like a baby on fire. I'm like, how did I get here? Like, what is this game?
Sounds like most weekends.
I'm like, what is this game?
Tune into episode 100.
Perfect. Yeah, that game's great. It's so just random and off the wall. Like there's like 26 or 30 different endings, like
yeah,
and they're all completely like irrelevant somehow. Like you break the game supposedly a couple different ways. Like it's a lot of fun.
I like that game a lot.
The game's fantastic. It's very good.
One of the few PC games I endorse. I like that game.
Fair enough. Wolfenstein Old Blood, finally finished that. In preparations for the next Wolfenstein. That game's very good. It plays just like New Order, but different setting.
It was like an expansion thing.
It was.
It's not.
It was more of an expansion than a standalone game.
Right. It's not like it's similar. I don't want to say it's similar to Uncharted because Uncharted at least changed characters and stuff.
This you have a different setting. You have a new like.
Is the main character new?
Yeah. Same character.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the prequel basically. Like it ends like minutes before the next one starts.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's got a new little gimmick with some pipes in the game from different maneuvering, but other than that, it's fine. Lost Legacy, went through that. The game's fantastic. Yeah. Because it's Uncharted. It plays just like Uncharted. Plus, it's Chloe. More Chloe.
Yeah, we didn't get to do like a spoiler talk for it, so spoiler free, but you like Nadine and Chloe.
I think they were great together.
Yeah, see, I wasn't as big of a fan of it. I wished it was somebody else.
It felt like a buddy cop movie to me, like a bad cop, good cop kind of thing. Except more like really bad cop, kind of gray cop, because they're both kind of off the wall.
See, that was part of my problem with it, is that's how I do think of those characters, and I don't think they acted that way through this.
Yeah, they kind of do.
There was a part where one of them wanted to do something, and I was like, that seems out of character for that character, but whatever.
Yeah, they're a little different, but...
Well, you'll need to talk spoilers on that sometime.
They seem good enough for me. I liked it.
I mean, I liked it. Don't get me wrong. It's fantastic.
Great. I love that setting.
But,
India is awesome. The India setting's great.
Just... Nadine, specifically, I really wish was, like, Cutter or anybody else.
I would have played it if it was him.
Cutter?
Yeah.
I like Nadine, though, but... It could have worked with other people, but
it would have worked really well because it's claustrophobic, and in this, you got an open world. He's like, I like this.
I could get behind this. Yeah, it's a huge map. And then I started Doom finally.
Yeah,
that game's very pretty. It's a lot of fun. A little gory.
Pretty's a weird word to use.
It is pretty. It looks great on the computer.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
They put in some new type of coding for the game, and it just runs at 200 frames a second at all times for me. Like the game looks really good. It's very smooth.
My computer runs at 0 frames right now.
Yeah, yours died. And we're gonna have to fix that.
I do want to point that out. I thought we might have to delay the podcast or put up like audio only or something. Because my power supply on my computer went bye-bye.
You opened it one night. I got a message from you just said it smells like burning in here. I'm like, oh my god.
I'm like, it smells like smoke. Is that bad? I'm trying to get like my warranty and stuff, and they're not answering my questions, and I'm gonna have to call them and harass them, and it's gonna be horrible. But I got a laptop working that I can edit on, so
fair.
We're still in the clear for that.
You can't have my computer; it's not being moved.
Yeah, I can barely move mine. That's part of the problem.
Mine would probably leak or something.
What else? Doom. What else?
More MLB The Show because I'm stuck on that game for whatever reason. You know, the Switch. Played Splatoon today, Mario Kart. Just the normal stuff.
You got Mario Kart?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Played it today.
Pretty much a must-have or must-own, I guess.
Yeah, I bought that system just so I could have Splatoon and Mario Kart.
I do want it, but I don't have it yet.
Oh, you don't actually own Mario? Oh, you had Nick.
No, I borrowed Nick's and I just like 3-starred everything.
Yeah.
I was like,
I have it, and I played some today, like at halftime of the football game and whatnot. So that's about it.
Also did a little bit of Wolfenstein, and by a little, I mean I beat both games Monday and Tuesday of this week.
That's impressive because one of them's like 12 hours.
Yeah, New Order is the one that got released first, and Old Blood is the prequel that came after it. I ended up liking Old Blood more, and basically the difference, New Order, the mainstay game, so you can call it Wolfenstein 1, I guess, since they reset it with that, is more story-oriented, so you have characters, people you care about, cool back and forth dialogue, and like you have like a team that you're kind of with. It's sort of like a resistance movement, because this one delves a lot deeper than the old Wolfenstein games into like what would happen if Nazis won, sort of thing, as like the premise. And then Old Blood is basically like the setup story of like how your dude became like a super badass, that you kind of already get into with New Order, and a lot of people are kind of like referencing stuff. They're like, oh yeah, you remember that one thing we did? And it's like, no, because it's the first game. But then Old Blood kind of gives you all the nods that you need. So it's weird because it feels like you ought to play Old Blood first because it's the prequel and it like sets stuff up, so chronologically it makes sense. But either way, there's a good payoff, so you're not screwed either way. But I think I would have preferred to play Old Blood first. But New Order, story-oriented, character-driven, and Old Blood is more like the old games where it's just you. I mean, there's some characters you talk to, but they're kind of
there's like two guys,
pointless. And then there's just like bad guys and
it's like you
monsters.
2 guys and machine guns.
Monsters and stuff like that. So it's, I don't know, I like it more because I don't have to pay attention to who's who, and I can just shoot stuff. And like he mentioned, the pipe thing was pretty cool, at least on
I like the different things
mouse
you can do
and
with
key.
it.
It was cool because basically you have a melee weapon at all times, which is your pipe. So sometimes you need to use it as a crowbar to pry stuff open. Sometimes you need to like jam it in a doorway, pry it open before the electricity comes back on. Sometimes you need to raise a wall, stick the pipe under there, take a few steps back, and then run, slide, and grab it as the thing closes behind you. And then sometimes you break it in half and you use it sort of like you're climbing up walls.
It broke in a way that you still have one of the joints, so you literally just unscrew it and then use it as like climbing gear.
So yeah, you stick it in the wall and then you use the next. So using the mouse, which I'm assuming you did as well, it's cool because you like have to click and hold. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
It works really well on the mouse. Yeah,
nice little innovation there, I guess, for something that would have been an afterthought for most games. I would imagine just the pipe. But it was cool because you were literally just going through Castle Wolfenstein for the majority of the game.
Yeah, you get there really fast, and you're like,
yeah.
I thought this was the end goal.
It had cool like the typical big German boss, and you get to do fun stuff with that, and just break out a prison game for the most part. So that was cool. I like that a little more, but the character-driven stuff is cool. I hope a lot of the people show up again in the second game. I haven't looked too much into it.
That was going to be my follow-up question. Are you guys both down for the next game?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's like an 8.5 minutes thing on Steam about it that shows a lot of gameplay and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I'll just avoid it since I didn't know anything about these games going in, and there's enough to keep my mind distracted between now and then.
I agree. I'm starting to... I mean, this is for movies mainly, but I'm starting to feel that way with like avoiding things because I just went and saw it, and I really enjoyed it. The movie's great, but I think that I wasn't like scared during the movie, and there's jump scares galore in it, obviously. But I think the best one is given away in the trailer.
Oh.
Like the one, like I didn't jump, but the one that absolutely would have got me, I knew was coming, and I was like, maybe I should stop watching trailers if I know I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah, me and Nick like to go dark as we call
watch the first one, and then I'm good.
It's hard with the amount of conventions and conferences because it used to just kind of be E3 and then like maybe something towards the end of the year, and then kind of PlayStation started doing their stuff, and now there's like 20 PAXs.
Yeah, there's PAX and Gamescom.
Yeah,
so every other weekend almost.
Yeah, E3 and PSX.
It's kind of tough, especially if you have the Twitters and you have the YouTubes, because you'll watch one trailer, or you'll watch one thing about Wolfenstein 2, like the E3 trailer for Wolfenstein 2, and then you log in the next day and there's like 10 Wolfenstein 2 videos, and you're like, oh.
I was annoyed.
Where did all this come from?
Because Danganronpa 3 isn't out yet. Super excited for that game, but it's been out in Japan for a little while. And like I watched some Danganronpa 3 trailer stuff because I'm getting excited for it, and then it's like suggested for you part 75 Danganronpa 3 the ending, and it like puts a little thing. I'm like, I don't want to know.
How would you jump to the ending?
I know, why are you suggesting this, YouTube? I wish that there was, I think I may have said this on the show, but I wish that there was a suggestion thing, because you could be like not interested and it says why, and it's like, because you're spoiling something I don't want to know about, please stop suggesting things.
that was like when Force Awakens was coming out, and I had the Google Chrome app that it would load it made my web pages load a little bit slower, so like milliseconds, but it would scan the page, and if the phrase Star Wars Force Awakens or anything sort of along those lines showed up, it would load the page. So, but anyways, I had already gotten the Wolfenstein games from a previous Steam sale where they were super cheap, so that's kind of what I was using it as. Like, I know these games are short and supposed to be fun, so I'll kind of dabble in it and see if I'll end up getting 2, because I kind of did like a schedule for the rest of the year, so I can kind of figure out what I need to pre-order and whatnot. But plays a lot like Doom, honestly, in some regards, and the music ramps up a lot like Doom. So I ended up liking it way more than I thought I would. So I'm pretty stoked.
Probably louder.
Yeah, Doom is Doom. But yeah. The music, I mean, even ramps up. I'm pretty sure the same guy who did the Doom music did some of Wolfenstein's music.
I know he did the last boss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, there was a lot of similarities, which I didn't think they were even going into, because I'm still like you. I associate Wolfenstein with multiplayer class-based, so I don't even think about single player.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah, basically.
Multiplayer.
Then after that, I decided for whatever dumb reason that I would get on the Danganronpa train, because number 3 comes out at the end of the month.
Oh yeah.
So I figured at least a month I should be able to knock out 1 and 2.
It's Nick.
It'd be impressive. I think, if you weren't you, I would say absolutely not. Those games are decently long.
I think I'm halfway through the first game. From what I understand, I'm trying not to use a guide, because like the hard parts of the game aren't like Phoenix Wright, because I came into the game thinking, oh, this is going to be a Phoenix Wright, so I need to have a guide ready just in case I get lost for like an hour.
Oh, no,
But it's not like that at all. The only difficulty for me is the timing sort of things, whether it's the little mini modes or just doing some of the attacks, I guess, on the screen during the
trials.
Yeah, during the trials. So it's just getting the timing right, but there's a lot of slowdown options. There's focus meters and all this other stuff, so I'm getting there with that. But I'm enjoying the game. It is super Japanese. I'm playing it on sub just because, I mean, it's a visual novel, so I didn't think it really mattered that much. You're reading more than anything. It's cool. I like it. Yeah. I don't really know what else to add in there, because it's very story heavy.
It's hard to talk about the game,
But I like the characters at least. I'll watch the anime. I think it's only 13 episodes, so 6.5 hours.
The first one's rough. I'm telling you, it's not good.
I watched the first one.
I'm sure I've made it through rougher.
It's fine. Kevin didn't like it in Japanese, I think.
But I will probably finish that by the next podcast, and then I'll have a solid 2.5, 3 weeks or something like that to do 2, which from what I understand, is much longer.
It sure is.
So, yeah, I mean, some of the trials sound like they last as long as the chapter in this game. So
they sure do.
So yeah, interested. I hope I like 2 a lot, because that means more anime to watch, and then 3 to play at the end of the month.
If you like 1, you'll like 2.
Because I would imagine they seem to be going the longer route, sort of like Persona is now 2, where the 3rd game is probably going to be like 100 hours or something, maybe. So who knows?
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. I just played through little bits of things. I don't have any like full gameplay things that I did. I did another chapter or two in Child of Light, played more Splatoon. I always think I'm done with Splatoon, and then I hop on and I end up playing it forever. It's those 3-minute matches that just make you want more.
And the updates too.
That's fair.
They updated it.
They nerfed the most annoying weapon ever, the Tri-Slosher, and they nerfed the stupid jetpack that I didn't like, and they buffed probably my favorite super.
The super I was using anyway.
Ground punch thing, so that's sweet. I quote-unquote platinum Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 this week, which was probably where my gameplay went the most to this week. The challenge mode in this much easier than the first one because there's more challenges and you only have to do 50 of them. So the other one I think only had like 60. This one has like 100, so you can pick between whatever. And the reason for that is there's multiple playable characters in these ones, so they're the same challenge, just with this character, and with this character.
Use the dog.
So it makes it really easy because you're basically doing the same thing 3 times in a row. Except they play differently, but it doesn't matter that they're not that different when you're doing a time trial thing anyway. After that, I did Had a Full Boyfriend, the pigeon dating thing.
Yeah.
I'm not done with that. It's a very short game. Apparently it's only like 2 hours or something. I don't know I know what's going on in the game, but there is something weird going on with things that are happening.
With a pigeon dating game? Who would have thought?
No. Listen. Remember last week I said that there's some sort of twist in this game and I need to figure out what it is?
You're a pigeon.
No, you're not a pigeon. You're a human. There is something going on, clearly, and I don't know what it is, and I'm curious to figure it out. But I don't have a report. Also, I can still not recommend the game right at this moment. And then finally, I've been playing RuneScape. I think I talked last week or maybe the week before that my niece was playing too, and she got a bunch of money from this guy because he was like, oh, looking for a girlfriend. And she's like, oh, I'll be your girlfriend, whatever. And he just started giving her money. She told me to log on the other day, so I logged on, and that guy was standing right where I last was, so I spawned right next to him. And he's like, I'm looking for an Uncle Kevin. And I was like, oh, that's me. And he's like, I need proof of the identification. I need at least 2 pieces of proof. And my niece always trades this guy garlic as a joke. Garlic's like a worthless item in the game. So I went to my bank and I grabbed 2 garlic, and I went and traded him 2 garlic, and he bought me membership for 2 months, or for a month. So that was sweet. I don't know. Whatever.
Very lonely man.
So you're using your... Never mind.
Don't worry about it, man.
It's not legal in most countries, but...
Maybe. And then that's really it. I've just been dabbling in little things. Lots of Uncharted 4 multiplayer. That was... I cannot stop playing that game. I finally lost. I was very upset. I lost by...
That's what happens when you challenge the world.
I lost by 1 point in a mode, and then I lost like 5 straight after that. And I was
when
like,
the game's losing and
the streak
anyway.
Is over. I even went into my statistics and looked at my win percentage, and it was 100%. I'm like, ooh. And then, yeah, I just got smoked after a couple rounds.
Yeah, I watched too much anime last week, so I didn't play much.
That's about it for what we've been playing. So now we can hop into the news. Quite a bit of news, not too much...
Not too much depth.
Not too deep.
A lot of stuff, but...
Wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle. But first, let's start with Resident Evil 7. So, Resident Evil 7, I've been waiting for this DLC announcement, and I actually looked for it maybe 2 days before they announced this, and I was like, I don't know what they're doing, because they delayed it and then never talked about it again.
Typical Capcom, they went kind of quiet.
And then, just randomly 2 days later, they were like, hey, this DLC is coming out, another DLC is coming out, a full edition of the game's coming out, and it's all playable in VR. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
Thanks, guys.
So we got Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Gold, which is coming out December 12th, just to add to the VR end of the year thing that's going on.
That's weird because it's like a month before it's like 1 year anniversary. I forget that it came out.
Yeah, like they might as well just wait type thing. So they're doing that. It's going to come with Not a Hero DLC, which is the DLC teased at the end of the first game. If you beat that, you should know what that is. And then there's a new DLC. I'm not even going to say the name of it. There's a new DLC that costs $15 that has a name I don't want to say because it's also kind of spoilery. And that one's, $15 if you have the game. Or
one of the major NPCs who doesn't have a lot of
screen time.
Yeah.
And that comes with the gold edition. So I think I'm going to get rid of mine and just get the gold edition because I like having it all.
Might as well. Yeah. I like that it's still VR though, because that makes me think more that the system was actually built with VR in mind.
I was worried it wasn't
like a one-trick pony sort of thing.
I was worried it wasn't going to be. I know some mechanics and things that are happening with this, but once again, I don't really want to talk about it. I'm assuming one of them's a little more action-oriented, and they announced that there is new monsters for it that you're going to be fighting and things, so that's cool. And I hope that the other one's more like walking simulator exploration based, so you get like the puzzle aspect and then like the shooting aspect, and not necessarily a crossover. I'd be cool with that. But $15 is a lot for a DLC expansion.
Sounds like Capcom.
For just one expansion, yeah.
That's true. Well, they already had 2, and they were $25 for them. Like, they're really expensive, and they weren't that like anything.
It'd be different too
special.
if it was like a $30 game.
Yeah, like I love Resident Evil 7, absolutely love it, and I didn't even buy the DLCs because I was like, that's really expensive, Capcom.
Well, you didn't know what you were getting either. Like some were just like
it was called Banned Footage 1 and Banned Footage 2, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
It's just another videotape to find.
It's cool if they go secretive about a main game before they release it, but they don't need to go dark about DLC because it's a little more I guess a harder choice to bank on. Like, hey, am I going to get this or not? Because I don't know. Like, you want to go mysterious with the spooky horror adventure
that was
survival
one of the
game
appeals of this game, is that they like even their trailers didn't show anything about the game.
Yeah, it wasn't until they started doing the like 15-second
and even that wasn't much.
right before.
It was just
that was just to show you, hey, we still have herbs in the game and we still have this, but
it's still Resident Evil.
So super happy with that. I'll pick up the gold edition and play through all that. LA Noire is coming November 14th for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the Switch. And the VR files are coming to the Vive. So Rockstar doing some VR, which is interesting.
That's cool.
And this game's coming to the Switch. Like I said, the Switch version will be more expensive than the other versions, similar to Rime, I believe, did that. And I think there was another game that also the Switch version's $10 more than the other versions of the game. I think they're like I looked at the UK prices, so I'm not sure what the story is here, but I think Rime is 30 everywhere and it's 40. Puyo Puyo Tetris is also 40 and it's 30 for everything else. I think it's the cartridge. They're charging them for making the cartridge.
Just more effort,
It's just more work,
Yeah. So there's that. That's cool.
Nintendo tax.
Anybody care about this? I'm not gonna go through that.
No.
I have the game on Steam, so
yeah,
I played it forever
I have
ago.
it on PS3. I don't really care. And
I do like that Rockstar's doing VR though.
I do like.
We need to put GTA 5 in VR.
Sure.
It has a first-person mode.
It does. Yeah, no, that's exciting. I would like to see them.
Red Dead?
Maybe do. Sure. Maybe Red Dead would have a mode.
Kevin be riding a horse and you just throw up on the thing.
Honestly, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Even like a shooting thing for Grand Theft Auto.
They'd probably have to start that process at the beginning of a Grand Theft Auto
no,
game.
For sure.
It'd be hard to add.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just exciting that that's a big studio doing it. Similar to Bethesda doing it is big. That's another big studio that's hopping into VR.
All on board.
Next up, this one's an interesting one. South Park, The Fractured Butthole, hit the news again because it has a difficulty slider. You make your character, whatever, and as you change the difficulty, your character's skin color changes.
Yep.
So if you go to the very difficult, your character's black, and if you go to very easy, your character's Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be playing this game on very easy, I guess. Kind of interesting. I thought that was a really funny way to do something like that. It affects they said that it doesn't affect actual combat. Like, combat isn't harder or anything.
Yeah.
It's just when you do a quest, you get less money for your quest.
Sounds about right.
So, I don't know. Maybe if you make a girl character, they're like, here's 79 cents or whatever. That'd be hilarious.
Thematically, even though it's a bit crude, it's on point,
funny.
I guess.
Yeah. I like it. If any other place tried to do this, I'd be like, that's not a good idea. But South Park, I'm like, good idea.
That's the funny part, is that those guys knew that they could do it and get away with it.
Oh, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
They literally
They'll
don't
sell
care
just as many copies if they did or didn't do it.
Correct. Next up, a game that you and I like very much, Friday the 13th. We were talking about, they said they're adding a new level and a new Jason. We thought it would be Jason X. It is Jason Part 4. Unfortunately, I mean, it's still cool. I'm not going to complain about it. Jason X just seems so cool.
He just wants his machete back.
But Part 4 is more in line with what they've been doing. It's in the woods.
Yeah.
It's at Tommy Jarvis's house. Part 4 is the one that introduced... I actually know this one because I've seen it pretty recently. Part 4 is the one that introduced Tommy Jarvis, but he's like a little kid in it, and then he's older in the next movie.
Yeah.
And this is the one where he actually, like, quote-unquote, kills Jason in his house. So I'm wondering if they may add, like, a new way to kill Jason or something like that. That's like
if you call in Tommy, he's a little kid.
And that would be even better. It's like an Easter egg to it or something like that. It also adds the Jason from Part 4, and he has a new weapon. So he doesn't have like a machete or whatever.
Spear or whatever.
He's got kind of like a meat cleaver that's a little longer. I don't remember what they're called, but it's like a longer meat cleaver thing.
Okay.
So that's cool. I'm down for that. And that's going to be free for everybody.
That's the best part of all their stuff. It's free.
Well, all their maps and Jasons are going to be free, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Jason skins and counselor skins are pay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to buy the swimsuit DLC just to support them. But it just so happens that that's the first one. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that one.
You would.
I wish I could play as Jason in the swimsuit.
I've never had a problem with cosmetic stuff being the priced.
No, me too.
DLC.
The only thing that I don't...
It's purely optional.
The only thing that I don't like that
cheap.
they've done is the Jason that you get with the Kickstarter is literally a different Jason. Like, he's got different powers and different weapons and everything. I really wish that they would do another skin of that Jason that's, like, not animated and on fire and whatever, with the same moves and abilities, just so everybody has that option to play that one, because is the best Jason. And I think that's
you
a problem.
should have kickstarted.
Oh, I should have. I absolutely regret not kickstarting it. Don't get me wrong. But I would like having the ability to play. He breaks down doors faster. Like, that's a pretty good ability. He's the only Jason that does that, and he's got the longest weapon in the game. So he can, like, hit windows and hit people inside. So, pretty cool.
That's not busted at all.
It's not busted, but it's
a slight advantage.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And his negatives are like move slower in water, like really weird things that don't matter.
Stuff that comes up once every 1,000 matches.
Yeah. Overall, he's just really good. Next up, this is an interesting one. Bethesda allegedly has an unannounced game for 2017. There was an interview where he basically was listing all the games that were coming
PAX
out.
West is where they were at. Yeah.
He was like, Doom VR, Skyrim VR, Fallout VR.
Because they were showing like 9 games.
Dishonored.
Dishonored's got a
expansion,
DLC. Yeah.
All this stuff. And then he's like, and we even have an unannounced game. And if it ended there, I would have been like, okay, maybe whatever. Mm-hmm. But then he was like, well, what's the game? And he's like, oh, I'm not going to tell you. And he's like, come on, give me a hint. And he's like, no, I can't do that. So like that makes me think, yeah, there probably is.
Yeah.
But he took to Twitter not too long ago. Excuse me. And he said that I probably just had a concussion from the beating I took online. I was rambling. Please ignore it. So
I figured it would just be something small.
I think it's going to be a mobile game.
Yeah.
Like I think it's going to be like Fallout Shelter 2 or
something like that. Yeah.
Something along those lines. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I really think it's a mobile game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's no way they would drop anything huge in between Dishonored DLC, Wolfenstein.
Yeah, unless there was like a remaster, but I think you're running out of time to put if it's a remaster, I think you need to like do it in the next month. Like I could see. Oh no, never mind. I was gonna say Evil Within. Evil Within was on PS4 already.
Well, even if they did sort of like Call of Duty's Modern Warfare, if they revamped Return to Castle Wolfenstein or something like that and dropped it,
that would be huge news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
News, yeah.
That's the best you could hope for with like a sneak release.
That's always
that's
the best
not mobile.
But yeah, I think it's mobile.
I wouldn't buy 2. I would just buy Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
that would
just
be
a bundle.
I'd buy both of them.
Next up, we got a tease for Bayonetta 3. This was more of a tease than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I was just expecting one of those, whatever.
Well,
whatever.
and it's hard to take like tongue-in-cheek sort of stuff when it's a different language and it's being translated. So.
Yeah, but there is somebody, I forget exactly what the tweet was to him, but he responded, wait till Bayo 3.
Yeah, just like story questions like, hey, where's this going? Or
yeah, like how crazy is something going to get? And he said, wait till Bayo 3. Cool. I think there will be a Bayonetta 3, so I don't think that's that surprising. I'm interested to see how that works, like story-wise and everything from 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, like
Bayonetta, it gets a Switch release.
I was just going to say Bayonetta 2 is one of the few remaining reasons to have a Wii U.
Yeah.
Like the Wii U is kind of this weird spot where literally all of its games are just getting ported to the Switch, and I don't mean that in like people are like, oh, the PS4 has all PS3. Like there's a lot of good PS3 games that didn't get ported, even if like Dead Space and like smaller ones like Puppeteer. Like there's a lot of good PS3 exclusives still. Or not even exclusives, just that generation exclusives.
Yeah.
Wii U, not really. Like it has Bayonetta, it has
like
Tokyo Mirage, like it has some things.
Xenoblade Chronicles,
but
Smash,
like, well, I think we're gonna get Smash.
Smash is coming eventually.
And Mario Maker, I think we're gonna get that too. Like they really only need to port like 5 games for me to be like, I don't need a Wii U. I can literally sell my Wii U and everything I have for it because I'd rather have it on Switch. So. Yeah, Bayonetta 2 on Switch first would be nice, I think, before 3. I think people will be very confused because I don't think a lot of people had the Wii U and didn't play Bayonetta, especially Nintendo people. So.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. It was a good game.
It is a good game. It was their best game at the time. And then Nier came out. Next up, Sea of Thieves is sharing its water tech with PUBG, which is Player Unknown Battlegrounds, which is a very, very popular PC game. And this is interesting because apparently Sea of Thieves water looks really good. I never even thought that. Like
that's what everyone was saying from the videos.
During water look good?
E3. Like, ooh, the water textures.
Like, it looks fine.
I don't remember that.
I've seen better.
Yeah.
Like.
But either way, I just think it's interesting because this game's going to be on PS4. This game's, it's going to be on other consoles. I actually think it'd be really cool on Switch. But either way, and it's strange that they're giving this to them when it's going to other consoles, like, very clearly. Maybe it'll be an exclusive thing to this version. They're like, the water's better. Exclusive. Wow. I don't know. Well, they actually did that with like Skyrim when they did the remaster. One of their big things is the water.
Look at
that
the
they
water
showed.
flow.
And everybody's like, well, did you fix the bugs where you like fall through the floor? And they're like, no, but our water's better.
And like PlayStation mods and stuff like that kind of had the advantage.
What, for Skyrim are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So little stuff like that is just kind of weird. But
so, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. More importantly is that Xbox is getting full mouse and keyboard support.
Yeah.
And I think this game's going to be the first game that supports it. And that will be cool. Yeah. I'm actually, if they make their console kind of into the more hybrid thing, then that is a different direction than Nintendo and then Sony. And I think that's a direction that actually could live on its own.
Well, they have the best bet of
to
doing
Steam.
It. Yeah.
And be like, guys, we need Steam on the Xbox One X.
Let us have a Steam app,
And then I think they're golden.
And we'll just use your store.
And that'd be sweet.
It'll go toward you still.
I would turn on my Xbox a lot more if it played Steam games.
I already have a Steam machine. It's my computer.
Yeah, but I'd rather just the convenience of, the convenience of their layout's not great. But if they redid their layout and everything.
There's different layouts on Steam you can use.
No, I'm talking about the Xbox.
Oh, that thing's terrible.
Yeah. There's basically a path ahead.
My layout's better on my computer. Like.
I mean, they're already pretty well integrated with Windows 10 and Xbox One at the moment. So, I mean, if they just dive down that path.
I would like that. And that, like I said, the Switch would be different, then the Xbox would be different than the PS4, and I think you'd have a reason to own all of them. Yeah. And that would be cool. Next up, Nick, this one's for you. The CD Projekt Red announced a 4K update for The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Thank God.
PS4 Pro, Xbox One X.
The most beautiful game is getting prettier, basically, on console versions. So.
I never saw it running on a TV, like straight up, to be fair. But I think that game's like pretty. But I definitely don't think it's like the prettiest thing ever.
Now there's PC mods that make it much prettier than it is.
Yeah, but I don't count PC. I'm just talking about
not a real person?
Actual on the consoles. Like.
Yeah, any of the screenshots you're going to see on the internet, like Twitters and all that, are PC. So
yeah, there's an HD mod for it. I was looking at Witcher 3 mods literally yesterday.
I mean, that game's already kind of a beast as far as how much processing power you need to run it like fully with all the hair
works.
hair works going on.
It's like Tomb Raider.
And stuff like that. But you can really just tank a system with some of the filters that they've put on it and stuff like that.
We're gonna try.
Yeah, you can make it run not as great on your computer, but it's still worth it. But yeah, it's cool. I'm glad that there's still. I know they're still kind of riding the high of like, look at our awesome game that everyone knows us for now, while they're still working on Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, you saw the stuff that people have been talking about with Cyberpunk. They're spending a lot of money on that game.
Yeah, this is the company that finally got like a shit ton of money, and they're like, oh, we have resources now. What is this? So I hope that doesn't go to their head, I guess, obviously. But yeah, it's cool to see them still supporting a game that it's, I mean, if you haven't played it by now, you're probably not going to play it unless you've just been waiting.
Unless you're me.
Next up, a viral video of a video game journalist playing Cuphead sparked some online debate. Yeah, this was... You sent us this originally.
Yeah.
And then I've seen it everywhere since then.
It's come up like 3 times since I saw it.
Yeah, the meme's gone further.
It is funny because people talk about Cuphead being the super difficult game and like all this stuff, and literally the video is just him learning to jump and then like him learning to dash and then them clearly making it so that you need to jump dash. And he just doesn't get it for minutes. He's just trying to...
It's literally the tutorial. The words are on the screen.
He's just trying to jump up the ledge.
He even does the next step of the tutorial where it's telling you how to shoot.
Tells you to shoot. He's shooting.
He's like, boop, 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 boop.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
But we can talk more about that a little bit later when we get into the questions. Next up, Avengers Project, which was the... Square Enix.
Yeah.
It was the Hitman studio and the Tomb Raider studio, I believe.
One of those is definitely correct. I think both are, right?
Yeah. Anyway, they had job posting kind of talking about what they're looking for people to do for this game work-wise. And it seems like the game's going to be a third-person action-adventure. It's going to have some online focus to it. And I think this game... is going to play like Battleborn, actually. I think this game is going to play almost exactly like Battleborn, where it's a third-person, like, hero shooter, except the heroes are just all different Marvel characters, and you go on missions together, sort of like Destiny, and it's like, I'm Captain America,
so like
I'm
a bunch
Hulk,
of strikes or something?
I'm Thor, yeah,
okay.
And they'll be like, well, if you're Thor and you're Captain America, you can, like, shoot Captain America with the lightning, and it'll bounce and make it stronger, like, they'll have, like, team moves and stuff like that. That's what I picture for this game, is Destiny Battleborn with Avengers.
The online portion of that, because they mentioned it a couple of times, makes me think it's more like that, like something you're going to have to grind a little bit and do like weekly or daily sorts of activities, so not really MMO like, but
Destiny and Battleborn.
That's what I was saying, is the online portion that made me feel like it was.
That's what I think. This, how this works. But the other thing that they talked about was specifically designing combat, which means maybe they haven't designed the combat yet, which means it would be very far out. But it could also just be like, oh, we're having trouble designing combat for the Hulk. We need somebody to come make the Hulk
great
fun
range combat,
to
but
play.
The melee guys are
something like that. So
I wouldn't have minded another Ultimate Alliance sort of game where you just have a pool of people you can choose from.
They have that out right now, right? They have like that dungeon crawlery one. That's pretty popular.
Heroes, game, Marvel Heroes.
I think that's what it's called. And there's like loot crates,
and it's online focused.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a little too similar to that for them to make that.
Fair enough.
But I would actually be totally down if it's like Battleborn.
But that would be cool.
Avengers.
That
sounds sweet.
Because obviously the Spider-Man game doesn't have anything to do with their universe. So if this one is a little bit more geared towards the movies, then I hope it is something like, hey, if I play the Hulk, it is an incredibly different game play than Thor or
I just picture a hero shooter with superheroes. That sounds cool. I don't know if that's what it is, but that's what I want it to be.
Plus it's
I'd play that.
Square, so...
Yeah. Their games are
gotta imagine there's going to be some creativity.
It's a turn-based RPG.
Everybody's super Japanese. All right. This next story is something that I found really interesting. I didn't hear about it until fairly recently, so I'm going to kind of go over it. And this may be complete new news to you. So Uncharted 4, pretty good game. Neil Druckmann took control of that game because Amy Hennig left.
Yeah.
And there was the agreement that Naughty Dog wouldn't talk about Amy wouldn't talk about Naughty Dog. Like, it was very weird what happened. And a book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, came out, written by Jason Schreier of Kotaku. And he did a bunch of interviews and such for this, and we actually found out some story pieces and kind of what Amy Hennig's story was going to be. Not specifically from Amy, but from other people. So it's pretty interesting. So I just put down a couple bullet points to go over. So apparently the game was having problems and was not coming together, and the team wasn't happy with how the game was while she was in charge of it. And they were calling like emergency meetings to try and help get this game going. And part of the reason apparently was because Naughty Dog was working so hard on Left Behind, the Last of Us DLC. Because The Last of Us is their best-selling game ever. And they were like all hands on deck for doing Last of Us stuff. And she's like, Uncharted guy, like I need.
Guys, we need to get this going.
I need help. And she wasn't, I guess, meeting what they were expecting her to meet and everything, and there was a lot of back and forth between that. So originally, Sam was completely the villain in this game. And I don't know if you remember the first teaser trailer for Uncharted. It was somebody else's voice. They recast the person. What was his name? Todd Stashwick. I believe he was in Rogue One. He was like an actor. He was Sam. And it was very clear he was very mad at Drake in the original trailer. And I totally forgot that existed and that was a thing. And it was like a little glimpse at what they were doing. And it seemed a lot darker and everything. So yeah, Sam originally was the villain and was going to kind of turn to Drake's side towards the end and turn on the actual villain of the game. That was kind of how it was set up, which now looking at it, it seems like super easy and predictable from that one trailer. It'd be like, whatever. But anyway... they were messing with the idea that Drake wouldn't have guns in this game, so he wouldn't be shooting until the game was about halfway through, and it was going to focus a bit on the fact that he's been killing people, and that's not, like, great, and it would be punching combat, lots of punching combat. And they were going to have a mechanic, and I believe this is correct, where you could shoot at like walls and make climbable bullet holes that you could use to scale things. And they also mentioned a quick time dancing scene with Elena.
Uncharted dancing all night?
Yeah. So that's something special. So anyway, they didn't agree on the direction of the game, and I guess it's important to know Amy did Uncharted 3. That was the one that she did, and that was by far my least favorite Uncharted. So I actually like the changes that were made. They brought in Neil Druckmann of The Last of Us to fix it up, and he was working on The Last of Us 2 prototypes. He already had prototypes for The Last of Us 2, so this is way back when. So The Last of Us 2 might actually be a little bit further along than we think. But he was working on The Last of Us 2, and he was like, I'll take control of this. I'll be the lead, but I want full control. I want to be able to get rid of whatever I want. I want to be able to change whatever I want. So they gave him that. He took out their last year of work on it.
He just went recycle bin.
Yeah, he said
drag this over here.
Scrapped the last year of work. He got rid of a bunch of the voice actors. He got Troy Baker. He got Laura Bailey. He made Nadine, because Nadine originally wasn't in it, at least we assume. And they rewrote the entire story. He rewrote the entire story for how it works, and then we got our Uncharted 4. So interesting.
Good work.
Just a little bit of, it's basically kind of what I thought it would be. Like, just from that opening trailer, it did seem darker. It did obviously seem like Sam was going to be the villain of it. The no-gun things I actually really like, because I've always... The shooting parts of Uncharted are the part where it gets repetitive to me, and that's why I like 4 so much, is because they were like, you can literally skip all the shooing sections if you just stealth your way around.
If you do it correctly, you can go through all the set pieces.
Minus like shooting. The last set piece. I think you have to do shootouts. But I really liked that, and so it would have been a very different game, but apparently the dancing scene was supposed to be similar to the Drake at home, I guess, like not the attic scene, but the scene right after the attic scene with Elena. And I like what they did. I don't want to spoil it for people, but I like what they did. I thought that was better. So that's cool. A little bit of history that got destroyed.
That got wiped out.
Yeah. Let's do some questions. We'll start with the Cuphead question, which is, how good do you feel like game journalists should be at games? And
better than that?
I'll start off. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Game journalists in particular, I don't think have to be good at the game at all. Game reviewers, on the other, like if you're reporting games, I think all you need to do is understand games.
Understand what you're talking about.
I don't think you need to be necessarily be good at them at all. If you're reviewing games, I think you need to be honest. If you can't beat a game,
I am very bad at
If you can't beat Crash Bandicoot, you probably shouldn't.
Right. If you can't beat the game and it's because of your skill and not because you think there's like an inherent flaw in the game design, I think you need to be like, hey, I can't do this. Can we get somebody else to? And it probably sucks and people probably are like, I'm going to get fired if I can't.
Yeah.
And that's probably the reason. But like, if you are honest to yourself and like, I can't do this because I am bad, maybe you shouldn't be reviewing at least that particular genre of game. It seems like a mismatch. But as far as like journalists, like you play in a show at PAX and you're just a games journalist and you suck at platformers, like whatever. It's funny, but whatever.
Yeah, it's funny. You don't have to be great at the game to talk about it.
Right,
It's a whole different thing from actually reviewing it or trying to show it on a stage. That's a different thing entirely.
Oh, yeah. The guys on the stage should be masters, or it should be pre-recorded and they just act like they're playing.
It's like, dude, your controller's not
If someone
on.
sucks on stage, to get out.
Yeah,
that's more annoying than anything.
So what do you guys think about this?
Same thing. Journalists, whatever. Like, I don't know why you'd want to film a journalist playing other than just to be like, oh, here's the video they're not showing online yet.
Well, to be fair, a lot of journalists review games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a mix. They get them to do a lot. There are some that just straight up do like investigative stuff, like, ooh, why did Uncharted 4's Amy Hennig leave, and what was her game like?
Yeah.
And then some people do reviews.
But yeah, like absolutely. Like if you can't beat the Souls game, or you have no patience, or if you suck at platforming and miss the ledge every time, or whatever,
For
like
5 minutes.
give it away. I don't know which is worse, like your personal reputation being tainted a little bit by like your supervisor saying like, what the hell, like you can't beat this. Okay, we'll give you the 27th Vita game release today or something like that.
Fine, you can do Animal Crossing.
Yeah. But like, I don't know which was worse, that or your company putting out, we would give this game a 6 because it's really difficult. And then there's a guy online who buys it and it's just like, this is a cakewalk because he's played maybe the other ones. So I don't know which is worse.
Before.
But there definitely needs to be, and this goes back to just talking just about reviewers anyway. I feel like there needs to be genre-related people more often.
Yeah, and then I think it gets weird just because then you start going into like the super fan part, and it's like I also don't think you should have a super fan review things. Like I know IGN's having Destin Legary review Destiny 2, and he led their Destiny coverage, and he was obsessed with Destiny 1 and everything. And people are like, well, is this going to be a biased review? Because
it'll be a minimum like 8 just because
not to call it, but I feel like if you reviewed Mass Effect versus somebody else who's maybe neutral or whatever reviewing it, like their scores will absolutely be different.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as like the guy with the Triforce tattoo telling me that Breath of the Wild's a 10 out of 10. I'm just like, really?
Yeah, I was going to say the guy's middle name is Link. Shouldn't be reviewing that.
That's fair. That's fair. I do want to point out that there is one genre that I do think this is iffy on, and that is puzzle games, particularly something like The Witness, where you're walking around and you're solving puzzles, and you're doing it before there's guides or anything. Yeah. And it's like, if you get stuck in a puzzle game, like, that's a harder, like that's a more complicated situation. Well, I know people had that problem with particularly The Witness, and there was like online groups where everybody was like trying to solve some of the puzzles, and people were like, I don't know.
I don't know how this works.
To some degree, you want to get stuck a little bit, because if the puzzler is just like, oh, got it, then it's probably not going to get a great review.
Yeah, but with something...
But you don't want to be stuck for like hours on something and just be like, can I finish this review?
Yeah, I mean, I was stuck on for an hour at least on some of the puzzles in The Witness, and that's just how that game works. But when you're under a time crunch of you need to finish the review by the day it comes out, and you're like, I'm stuck in a puzzle and can't do anything. And also puzzles in particular, people solve things differently. So like I played The
Different
Witness
parts of the brain
with somebody, and like there was a certain type of puzzle I was super easy at, like I could do it every time, and he was way better at another type, and like there would be parts where there's both interweaved into one puzzle, and I'm like, all right, you got to do this, and then I don't know, and he's like, now we do this, and I'm like, okay, good, we solved it. Like,
good work.
And when you're doing that like by yourself for, I keep bringing up The Witness, but 40-hour puzzle game, like that's gotta be awful. You gotta feel like crap.
I mean, same thing as us talking about Night Trap last week. If it was just you with the controller the whole time, it's panic mode. Like, you don't have time to look at all these cameras. But if you have a guy next to you going, hey, camera 8, hey, bathroom, or whatever, then
I would have.
You got plenty of time.
If I played that by myself, I absolutely would have had a notebook and be writing down
game was awesome.
times and everything. Do you have anything else you want to add to this conversation?
Not really. I mean, if you're just reporting, like reporters, even in normal news, report on stuff they don't understand all the time.
It's true.
It's just part of it.
It's true.
Not every reporter knows everything about hurricanes. Like,
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, it's kind of in the news.
It's a little bit of a hot topic.
Yeah.
Next up, with the return of Crash Bandicoot and, more importantly, Bubsy, what video game characters would you like to see brought to modern day? So I take this as like mascots.
Yeah.
So we technically got a return of Sonic with Mania.
Yeah.
Crash is back. Bubsy's back for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So what character would we like to see back?
My easiest choice is Spyro.
There it is.
Spyro the Dragon. I absolutely think we'll see. I mean, he's technically still here with Skylanders, but you mean like the cartoony
He needs
plushy.
like his own.
Like cartoony, yeah, but like super crazy, high definition, cartoony looking Spyro.
So I have two. Do you have?
the
First
same
thing that comes to mind is Spyro. Yeah.
The same thing, like looking at old Crash and new Crash, where you can see like individual hairs and like fibers on him, like that kind of difference between old Spyro and.
Yeah, you want Vicarious Visions to do it basically. You know they did the port for Destiny 2.
Did they?
The PC port.
That's why it's not done yet.
Yeah, they're.
That's why I'm interested in the game. Then.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're doing that port.
Yeah.
Like that team's moving up in the world.
Yeah.
So for me, I have two that I very much want back. The first one is Sir Daniel, the medieval franchise.
Nobody cares about medieval.
I do because it's different. It is more combat oriented than your average platform. Like there's not a lot of platforming to it. It's like an exploration combat system, and
he was in that All-Stars game.
He is in that All-Stars game. And I would picture if this game came back, it would be like a cartoony Dark Souls, like a Dark Souls or more Bloodborne, because it's a little bit more like that. But it's got comedy and it's a little silly and zany. That's what I picture for a new medieval reboot, which I'd absolutely love. And my other one is another character that I seem to be the only person that really likes, and that's Gex. I think Gex is fantastic.
Oh, I would play Gex.
Yeah, those games are sweet.
Yeah, I really like Gex. His jokes are
one of those up like a few months ago. Okay.
I play through it every once in a while. His jokes are very dated, and I would
absolutely.
I would love one that just came out and had a whole bunch of like pop culture jokes about it. That way, I could play it in 5 years and be like, this game's very dated. But at the time, it would be sweet.
That would be cool.
All right. Let's move into the releases. I'm just going to go over a couple of them here. Nothing too crazy coming out. There's a big game, and that's about it. But so, hold on. I got an ad. These ads pop up. It's miserable. First, September 12th, we have Get Over Here for the PlayStation 4.
Mortal Kombat?
You guys nailed it. We have Pro Evolution Soccer 2018, also on September 12th, coming to the PlayStation 4. The Xbox 360 is listed next. I'm sure it's coming to everything, but
that's odd.
I think PES is still pretty big on it.
It literally says all when I click it. So yeah, sports games almost always the last things to like ditch a generation.
Yeah,
I think there was. I'm gonna get the date wrong, but PlayStation 2 had a FIFA game like almost when like the PlayStation 3 was like halfway, 5 years into the PlayStation 3, they kept going, and that game's actually expensive just because nobody got it.
Yeah.
Tooth and Nail is coming to the PC and PS4. This is all September 12th. Happy Dungeons PS4, VR Carts PS4. I'm gonna have to check out how that goes. I want a good racer in VR, not like a realistic. I want a good like cartoony racer.
I'm jealous because Japan has all those stations inside their arcades where it's
Mario
Kart VR.
Yeah, it looks so good.
See if you can just mount the Switch like the Samsung gear. There you go.
There we go. NASCAR Heat 2, PC, PS4. Use 8 coming to PC, PS4. Samurai Showdown 5, PS4 Vita. Bloody Zombies, PS4, Xbox One. The Limbo Inside Dual Pack Collection is Xbox One, PS4. Rayman Legends coming to the Switch. That's a really good game, actually.
Yeah. Rayman Legends.
Rayman Legends.
Wrong man.
Cook Serve Delicious 2 coming to the PC. That game can't be bad. Don't Starve Together coming to the Xbox
They
One.
should meet up with the Cook Serve Delicious.
Nothing of interest. I know there's a big one. Dishonored, the DLC, Death of the Outsider. Yeah. That's cool. September 15th, NHL 18, NBA Live 18.
Hockey season.
Yeah, WRC 7, Xbox One, PS4. And then here it is, finally, all the way at the bottom of the list, September 15th, Metroid Samus Returns for the 3DS. So, okay, week. Actually, a lot
cool
of games.
case for that.
If
the Samus case.
A lot of...
3DS.
You mean the actual, like, console, the limited edition console? I don't like it.
It's all right.
I don't like red very much, though. Red, one of my least favorite colors for things.
Even for Nintendo, which is always red.
Mario?
You guys make a good point.
Wish it was orange, though. More like her armor.
She's orange.
Plus, I like orange.
I think. Yeah, orange probably my second least favorite color.
Yeah, that's why I like it. Bothers you.
That's it for this episode of the Press X Podcast. Thank you for being here, Nick. Thank you for being here, Kellen, even though you like all these terrible colors.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for watching. We'll speak with you next time.
He likes green. That's all you got to say.
Green's a good color.
No.
It is a good
You
color.
don't like green?
How do you not like green?